In this video, we're going to step back from the noise and look at what actually drives progress in countries and why. Nigeria keeps repeating the same cycle. Every 4 years, Nigeria resets itself. New campaigns, new promises, new hope, and every time, the same expectation. This election will change everything. But after decades of elections, after different parties, different leaders, different agendas, Nigeria still faces the same structural challenges. So the question is no longer who wins the next election. The question is, can elections alone fix a country? Nigeria operates on a 4-year electoral cycle, but governance does not function in clean 4-year blocks. In practice, the first year is spent stabilizing government. The second year is where real policy attempts begin. By the third year, political calculations return. By the fourth year, governance slows down significantly. What this creates is not a 4-year system, but a 2-year governing window, followed by 2 years of politics. This is not unique to Nigeria. In the United States, presidents often face midterm elections after just 2 years, which can shift political control and stall policy momentum. In many democracies, short election cycles create constant political pressure, making long-term reforms difficult. But in fragile or developing systems, the impact is far more severe. Nigeria's political instability did not begin today. Since independence in 1960, civilian governments have been interrupted by military rule. Policy direction has shifted repeatedly. Long-term continuity has been rare. The Nigerian Civil War disrupted national cohesion early on. Subsequent decades saw alternating cycles of reform attempts, reversals, and institutional resets. Even in the democratic era, since 1999, transitions between administrations have often meant abandoned policies, rebranded programs, or complete strategic resets. The result is a country that is constantly starting again, but rarely building forward. One of the most persistent patterns in Nigeria is what can be described as the next government syndrome. Every major issue is deferred. Economic reform, next administration. Infrastructure, next administration. Security restructuring, next administration. This creates a dangerous cycle. No administration fully owns long-term outcomes, and citizens begin to see elections as the only moment of change. But governance is not an event. It is a continuous process. So if this pattern is not unique to Nigeria, the question becomes, what have other countries done differently? Now let's look at a different path. After the fall of authoritarian rule in 1998, Indonesia faced economic collapse, political instability, institutional distrust. But instead of constant resets, Indonesia pursued gradual democratic consolidation, continuity across administrations, long-term economic planning. Leadership changed, but direction did not change dramatically. Over time, this allowed Indonesia to stabilize its economy, strengthen institutions, emerge as one of Southeast Asia's most resilient democracies. The key difference was not the absence of elections, but the presence of continuity. Another example is South Korea. In the 1960s and 70s, South Korea was economically weak, politically unstable, heavily dependent on external support. But over time, despite political transitions, the country maintained a consistent industrial policy, long-term investment in education, strategic economic direction. Even after democratization in the late 1980s, successive governments continued to build on existing frameworks rather than discard them. The result is what we see today, one of the world's leading economies and technology hubs. Democracy is built on the principle of the popular vote, but national progress depends on more than participation. It depends on informed decision-making, institutional strength, sustained engagement beyond elections. A system is only as effective as the quality of decisions made within it. Voting alone does not guarantee progress. It creates the opportunity for progress. Nations are not built by governments alone. They are shaped by citizens, businesses, religious institutions, local governance structures. In Nigeria, churches and mosques play significant social roles. State and local governments influence daily realities. Private sector actors drive economic activity. When these groups operate in isolation, progress is limited. When they align, transformation becomes possible. If elections alone are not enough, then what actually moves a country forward? One idea is often repeated in moments like this. Nigeria needs unity, but unity is often misunderstood. Unity does not mean agreement on everything. It means alignment on direction, different opinions, but a shared commitment to move the country forward. And history shows that when countries reach this point, things begin to change. Example, Rwanda. After the 1994 genocide, Rwanda faced total institutional collapse. Trust was broken, society was divided, but over time, the country pursued national reconciliation programs, strict development focus, strong collective identity. The message was simple: the country moves forward together, or not at all. Example, Singapore. In the 1960s, Singapore was resource poor, politically uncertain, socially fragmented, but the country aligned around economic growth, institutional discipline, national development, short-term sacrifice for long-term stability. Example, Germany. After World War II, Germany was devastated, but recovery was built on coordinated rebuilding, disciplined policy, institutional cooperation, a shared understanding. Everyone had a role to play. Nigeria does not lack talent. Nigeria does not lack resources. What Nigeria lacks is consistent alignment. Too often, institutions compete instead of collaborate. Individuals prioritize personal gain over collective progress. Political differences override national interest. The result is fragmentation. In a system that requires coordination, a divided system cannot produce a unified outcome. Working together is not abstract, it is practical. Government plus states align infrastructure priorities, coordinate security strategies, maintain consistent economic direction, not competing agendas, but shared execution. Local governments, sanitation, primary healthcare, community education, fix what is closest to the people. Consistently, religious institutions support vulnerable communities, promote responsibility, reduce division, leverage trust to stabilize society. Private sector, job creation, skills development, local investment, not just profit, but participation. Citizens follow systems, engage constructively, demand accountability intelligently. Progress is built daily, not just every 4 years. Working together does not require perfection. It requires consistency in direction. This is not about blind support. It is about constructive alignment. Criticism is necessary, but so is participation. The hard truth: Nigeria's challenges are real. Financial pressure, security concerns, structural inefficiencies. But these challenges did not begin in the last decade, and they will not be solved in a single election cycle. The expectation that one leader will fix everything is part of the problem. The next election will come, and after that, another one. But no country develops simply by changing leaders. It develops when people, institutions, and systems move in the same direction. Because without alignment, even the best leadership will struggle. And with alignment, even imperfect systems can improve. And that is where the real work begins. This is Political Pulse. If you want clear, grounded conversations on the issues shaping Nigeria today, subscribe and stay informed.